One thing that is often overlooked when we decide to take an adventure out in the backcountry is hygiene. Or oftentimes just like, whatever, when I get home, I'll shower and clean off the layers of grime on me, and I don't mind smelling awful, even if the people who are sleeping next to me care. You just kind of let it go, which is fine for a short duration if you're just having fun. But when you get out here for longer periods of time, it's another critical component for a couple of reasons. One is that a lot of the bacteria that can get caught under our nails and things that can happen in our groin areas by not cleaning can actually become really dangerous and give us infections that are difficult to combat without proper treatment. And so it is important to clean yourself. I've mentioned having biodegradable soap. I will show you how to use a plant called yucca. It has saponin-filled roots and kind of works as a loofah to be able to clean yourself. The big sagebrush, any type of sagebrush out here, any of the Artemisia tridentata is what we have out here, is sort of like an antiseptic hand wash. Friction is a really good thing to remove multiple layers of skin that have the dirt on them from your hands, and your armpits, and use your groins, and it's just really, really important, okay, so that you don't get sick out here. Barring sort of the soaps for your hands and things, we need to consider our clothing. It needs to be washed, or it needs to be cleaned somehow, right? So I'm going to speak a little bit more to the ladies right now. With my underwear, I have a love and affinity for spandex, which is kind of weird. In general, you do want airflow down there. You don't want to sweat down there. But what I do is I rotate between spandex, which doubles as shorts for me if for some reason I want to take off my pants or clean my pants or whatever, and then another pair of underwear. And I clean one and have the other one on, and I'll let it dry out in the sun. The sun is incredible at basically sterilizing things, so that's also good as well. If you don't have the opportunity to soap things down, you can just put them in the sun. The smoke from a fire is another really good way to kill bacteria. So you stand in front of a fire and just let it go everywhere, in your crotch and under your armpits, and yeah, you reek like campfire, but you're actually killing anything bad that's beginning to produce on your body that can make you sick. Another tip is to have a pee bandana. This is for the ladies again. A specific bandana that's just for peeing. What I'll do is, pick a point, like this is where the tag is on this bandana, and that's the side I always tie to my pack. And this side is the side I use to wipe. And once again, I leave it in the sun, and it naturally sterilizes itself when it dries. So that's really good. You can also use plants, of course. It's very important to not strip away good bacteria, but also that you don't want to not wipe enough, because it is those little drops of pee that collect in your underwear that cause yeast infections and urinary tract infections that can become really uncomfortable, if not very serious problems that can make it difficult for you to travel and help yourself. So my suggestion is to use some kind of a plant that has antibacterial properties like sagebrush, or to use something like a smooth stick. And after I'm done peeing, I kind of pat, pat, pat versus wipe, because I don't want to create any cuts. Cuts sting, cuts are a place for infections to come once again. And then I sit there for a moment and I air dry. I just wait. And that time that you wait can really save yourself. So if you're not using a bandana, go for that air dry and just kind of tap, tap, tap. Sort of silly. And for number 2, for boys and girls, make sure that you prepare for it. Don't wait till the last moment so that you have no type of toilet paper supplies available, but make sure that you get rid of all of the yuckies so you don't have any little hangers. They also can cause irritation, be very uncomfortable, and continue to create infection in your underwear. So I like to actually procure materials as I find them and just save them with me. Some nice examples that we'll look at are mullein. Giant lupin leaves are a really good thing. Also, smooth sticks are nice. smooth rocks will work. You want to avoid things that have a really slippery surface, right? Because it just kind of slips by. You also want to avoid things that are really, really dry, because then they kind of crack and crumble in your stuff, and then it just sits there, and that's really uncomfortable as well. I know all this sounds kind of gross, and you're like, why don't you just bring out some toilet paper? Well, you should bring out some toilet paper if you've got it, but if you don't, this is what you need to do. And if you do, don't be a jerk and leave your poopy toilet paper in the beautiful, pristine woods. Burn it, or whatever you pack in, pack it out in the end. Be good to the natural environment. We only have so much of it left, right? The last thing I want to talk about is something that, I spoke about being in front of the fire to help us sterilize ourselves. The other thing you can do is take this plant, this big sagebrush, and dry it out. So I took a bunch of leaves and created a bundle. I tied them up with some cord that I found, and because this has sort of bacteriostatic properties, it's a antimicrobial and antibacterial, I can go ahead once it's dry and just light it. Now, we've all seen incense. This is natural incense, but its properties, just like the smoke, I can use to clean myself, to get into my armpits, and it smells good. I smell much more like hand wash, or, oh, okay, this is hard to do. Normally you kind of get naked and do this like straight up, you know what I mean? You're like getting it everywhere and all over you, and you circle it around. And the last thing I want to talk about with hygiene, beyond, getting sick and thus why we want to stay clean, is that there is a huge psychological element into being clean out here. It's what we're used to, it's what keeps us healthy, but also when I clean my face in the morning with whatever plant or, soap that I have, when I take a sagebrush bundle bath and realize that I don't smell like BO anymore, but smell like sage, I feel awakened, alive, invigorated, just as I do when I take a shower at home. And I'm more ready to start the day. I don't feel as gross. And as I said, for a short period of time, it can be fun to just go out with your buddies and get like gross in the woods. But when we get into longer periods of time here, like, you got to take care of yourself for your health, but also because these things will affect us, we start to feel out of our comfort zones, because it is much more normal in this day and age for us to feel clean. So feel clean, get invigorated, get in that creek, even if it's really cold, get in and out, and wake up back into the scenario that you're in. It's really important.